Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. This room is so ungodly hot, and this is why I'm wearing this youth medium Dirk Nowitzki jersey, a guy that could beat LeBron in the finals, and a guy that LeBron never faced in the finals in Kobe. I'm Sean Anderson, alongside me is Ricky Widmer, and we're doing Game 1 reactions of the NBA Finals, the Warriors versus the Cavs. The Warriors won 104-89. The Warriors looked fantastic. They looked like the team that went 73-9. Looked like there was no layover from that Thunder series. And Ricky,
their bench looked fantastic. Let's be honest. The bench looked fantastic.
You don't need anything else with Sean Livingston's putting up 20. Why don't you talk about what the Warriors did well in this game and why they ultimately won this game?
Well, first off, before I get into that, I have to piggyback off of your LeBron Kobe talk. At least my guy lived up. He lived up. He made it to the finals. LeBron never did, so they never met. That's why.
Yeah, totally. Because
LeBron couldn't live up to getting to the finals to play Kobe.
LeBron's team couldn't live up.
But the best thing that I think the Warriors did all night was completely shut down J.R. Smith. And I don't know at this point if it was necessarily their defense that did it, but I think it was the Warriors came into this game with the game plan. We're going to attack J.R. Smith, Kyrie, and Kevin Love. And we're basically going to say, okay, LeBron, since you have your guys with you, we're going to make your guys flustered. JR only had 3 points. Didn't have a point until, 28 minutes or even 30 minutes into his playing time on the floor. Kevin Love looked like early on, okay, he's feeling it, but then he kind of, to me, fell off, missed some shots, wasn't completely there. And the whole thing with the Cavs were... The one thing they could do, I know this is kind of you, but what I noticed they could do to beat the Warriors, fucking move. Don't just stand there.
Yeah, they had a really lackadaisical offense. It seemed like they were they weren't moving a lot. It seemed like their offense was kind of flustered. It didn't seem like they had a game plan. Like you said, the Warriors had the game plan, and the Cavs really didn't seem like they had a game plan. And they didn't really go. It worked in the first 3 series. I mean, Channing Frye only played 7 minutes. I mean, this team needs to get him involved. And ultimately, what I would like to see is kind of a small ball lineup that would work off the pick and roll. You have Channing Frye and you have Kevin Love, and maybe you do a dual, pick and roll with those two at the top, and have LeBron go off of them, and they pop out to the outside, and have Channing Frye, Kevin Love, LeBron, Kyrie, and then maybe J.R. Smith or Adela Dadova for defense or dirty play, if you want to say that.
Well, it was dirty.
Yeah.
I'm going to get to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think you attack him with a small ball lineup. I mean, this team needs motion. And the thing with J.R. Smith, I mean, he wasn't open, and plus, they weren't running so many pick and rolls that he didn't have a chance to shoot the ball that much.
And it seemed like I'd watch him off the ball, and it'd be like, okay, I'm just going to stand here.
Yep.
And then, okay, my guy's on me. I'm not going to try to get open. Okay, LeBron, I'm going to let you do it. Or, I mean, to me, Kyrie looked like he came up, but 7 of 22. However, I can't fucking talk because you've had the Splash Brothers account for 20 points total. And if you would have told me, Ricky, Curry and Thompson are only going to get 20 points, I said, how much did the Cavs win by? One thing I want to ask you, because you said, you should play Channing Frye more, and it seemed like they didn't have a game plan. To me, through this game, I was thinking this is why I gave the Warriors the advantage in the coaching matchup. Steve Kerr, way better right now than Tyronn Lue after 1.
Who the fuck didn't give them the coaching matchup?
No, I know.
Tyronn Lue's a rookie coach.
I'm saying, and it showed in game 1. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, who didn't really give them the coaching advantage going into this?
It completely showed because, Ty Lue, the big thing for me was, okay, going into halftime, I think they were down, 6 points to the Warriors, 5 or 6. It was the same consistent thing. All the guys, if you watched the ABC broadcast, Doug Collins, Jalen Rose,
I think they were up 11,
Paul Pierce, they were, the whole thing, they were like, oh, well, the Cavs will stay with them, but the Warriors will just kind of cruise on to a victory. And I was thinking, okay, Ty Lue, if you want to make your staple on this series, on this game, you have your team come out of halftime. And it looked like they did. They came out differently. They threw the Warriors off, took a 1-point lead at one point in the third.
They won that third quarter. They won that point-wise 25-22. I mean, they won that third quarter, and then it was the fourth quarter where it ultimately fell apart.
Not the entire fourth. It was, to me, the turning point of this game was, and I'm not even, tell me down below what you think. I'm not going to get into it, even though I think he's a dirty player. That's all I got to say. it was the nut shot from Deli on Iggy that flipped the switch. Yeah. That's what it was, because Iguodala got angry and he just caught fire. And I know what you're like. I get what a dirty player like Deli is trying to do. He's trying to get under the skin. Like, he is basically, he's the goon for, if we're playing hockey, he's a goon for the Cavaliers. You just send him out there to get in fights. That's all his, like, that's his only purpose on this team, in my opinion. He was sent out there and he tried to start a fight with Iguodala. Iguodala made him pay, and the Warriors went on a run.
I'm not going to get into it, but whatever. The thing that the Cavs did do, in my mind, well, is 15 offensive rebounds. I mean, you look at that, the thing that they didn't do well was obviously capitalizing on those offensive rebounds. But, I mean, I said go small earlier, and I don't really know if throwing out two big guys like that are small. Maybe just a stretched out lineup, but maybe you go even bigger than that. Maybe you have Kevin Love play the small forward. You have LeBron be the shooting guard. You have Kyrie out there as a shooter, and you stretch them out big because, I mean, you were dominating the offensive boards. I mean, 15 offensive rebounds, 6 from Tristan Thompson. Maybe you put Tristan Thompson in there. Maybe you put Channing Frye in there. Kevin Love. I mean, obviously that team's going to lack a lot of defense to cover Steph and Clay and Andre Iguodala. I mean, all these guys. I mean, they're going to lack defensively, but they might be able to keep up with them offensively. I mean, I look at this Cavs team and I don't know which direction to go after this big of a loss. I mean, they at some points they looked like they were in it, and some points they looked like they were gonna put up a fight. But then again, it was also like, all right, they're down 4, but then again, the Warriors have the ball and they're gonna be up 7 the next possession. I don't think they're gonna be able to stop them on defense anyways.
And the whole thing you gotta like, and what is, to me, if I was on the Cavs or if I was a Cleveland fan, what would be absolutely demoralizing to me right now is, holy shit, Curry and Thompson only had 20 combined points. What happens when they turn it on? Because you're not going to hold these two to 20 combined points every single game of this series.
But we've seen before in games, and I know they ultimately won this game, but the game where Steph hit the game winner from half court against the Thunder, I think they both had over 30 points in that game, but no one else had the points to match up or keep up with them for the Warriors. So maybe you only let Steph and Clay beat you because obviously those two are the best offensive players on this team.
If you're going to hold them under 20, of course you can't let Sean Livingston and Harrison Barnes combine for what? It was 13 for Barnes, and then Livingston had over 30 points.
Total off the bench for the Cavs, they had
45.
10 points. Yeah.
Oh, for the Cavs.
For the Cavs, they had 10 points. I mean, if you look at Barbosa had 11, Livingston had 20, Iguodala had 12. I mean, this team was loaded from the bench-wise, and then obviously you can talk about Harrison Barnes, Draymond Green.
Well, here's the thing I'm going to ask you, since I'm more of the Warriors side, these playoffs, you were more of the Eastern Conference side.
Yeah.
With the Cavs, I mean, one lineup thing we mentioned, maybe bringing Channing Frye, upping his minutes to get some offensive output. Who from the starting lineup then do you take out? Because the first thing I think of is Love to the center and maybe kind of make lesser minutes for Thompson to add some offense from Channing Frye.
I don't think you put him in the starting lineup. I'm not saying that.
No,
I'm just saying you increase his minutes.
Increasing his minutes, but who do you take minutes from in the starting lineup? Because the bench. And maybe unless you take minutes from Shump and Deli.
I think you take minutes from Shump and Deli. I mean, I think Richard Jefferson is a good spark plug, but he shouldn't be getting 12 minutes. I mean, I think Channing Frye should be the 6th man for this team. Evan Deli should be the next in just because you need point guard help defending-wise. And he is a decent defender when he's playing clean. But I look at Channing Frye. He should be this focal point. You went out into the trade deadline and got him, and he was nothing but great in the first 3 rounds for you in the playoffs. I think you need to keep going to him. I think you need to do what worked well, and maybe you don't have. I mean, this might be crazy too, but maybe you don't have Kyrie starting. I mean, maybe you have him come off the bench, and you have a pair with him, Channing Frye, Richard Jefferson. You have. Yeah, I mean, it's weird saying Richard Jefferson's a spark plug now at like 37, but he was. I mean, he in the Eastern Conference rounds, he was a spark plug.
I think at 102.
Yeah, 175. I mean, Richard Jefferson can be a spark plug. I mean, Channing Frye, not really, youthful wise or energetic wise, but he can still be an offensive spark plug.
Offense off of the bench, and that's the one thing the Cavs just need to me, move around on the floor. Don't let the Warrior bench beat you. And the one thing that they have to do is make sure that they have everybody covered. There were so many times where it's like, okay, we're going to leave this guy open, but that guy, whoever it was, because it wasn't Curry and it wasn't Thompson, that guy usually made the shot.
I agree 100%. You need to make Steph and Clay beat you, or Steph, Clay, and Draymond beat you. You can't let Barbosa and Livingston and Iggy's beaten you before, and Iggy was the NBA Finals. But
all the Warriors had
MVP.
good. Like Iggy was good on defense in this game. Bogut had some good moments. Draymond Green, like Bogut had amazing passes in this game.
Well, Bogut's just a great passer. This team is just they're a team. That's what it is. This is what the Cleveland
strength in numbers.
The Cleveland team lacked a sense of team, like a sense of togetherness during the whole regular season, and then the playoffs, it finally seemed like they were playing as a team. They kind of went away from it. It was kind of like they were stagnant. They weren't moving. They were waiting for LeBron. They weren't waiting for them to do something. I think you need to take a lot from the Thunder and take a lot from Billy Donovan and take what they used. You have two great scorers. I know Kyrie is nothing like Westbrook at all, but you can still use him in a way that the Thunder did use him. You have a guy who, the Thunder really didn't have a guy like Kevin Love, a guy who can stretch the floor but also dominate in the post. Not dominate, but might have the ability to dominate against a smaller opponent. I think you throw more with Kevin Love. LeBron's one of the best players in the NBA. He's the most versatile player in the NBA. I would take him over Kevin Durant in a one-game situation. But KD's best thing is that he's a great scorer. LeBron can show that scoring ability. I think they just need to rely on their big three and then use the right guys to pair with those big three. I think you need to throw more of Channing Frye in there. I think you can put Delly in. Obviously, got to worry with him with his dirty play, as you said.
Well, he likes going for the balls. It's okay.
Yeah. You gotta throw more Delly in there. You gotta use J.R. Smith more. It's just more about focusing on who you need to use and then who you gotta pair with them. And I think they didn't do a very good job of that. Tristan Thompson shouldn't be getting 31 minutes. He was great on the offensive glass, and I said you need to use that. But I don't think Tristan Thompson can be the only guy being great on glass. I think you need to use someone who can really stretch the floor.
There's two things I'm gonna look for, and this is the last point I'm gonna make. Two things I'm looking for in Game 2. How does Curry and Thompson kind of come back, because you're not going to hold them to 20 combined points again? And number 2, how does Ty Lue make the adjustments, whatever he needs, to help the team win? Because right now, you're never going to, of course, Kerr's going to be the better coach because Ty Lue's a rookie coach, but the main thing is it's just like being a player. You can't make rookie mistakes.
If I look at this Game 2, and I have to give a prediction, I predicted the Cavs in 7, and that would mean they would have to win one game at the Oracle, and it's not going to be Game 2, and I don't even know if the Cavs are going to win in 7 anymore. I looked at this, and this just didn't seem like a team that could win an NBA Finals. I'm not saying that they can't and that they won't, but I'm just saying my previous prediction of 7 games for the Cavs, I'm getting hesitant on, because I don't know if the Cavs can show up as a team in any of these games. This Warriors team looked like the best team in the NBA for a reason. They were the best team in the NBA this regular season, and I think they showed it. I think they're going to prove it. I think that the Warriors looked fantastic in this game, and I think the Cavs really need to have a phenomenal game. I look at Game 2. I think the Warriors win this in a close one by 5, maybe, like 110, 105. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a hard-fought game. I don't think the Cavs are going to get over them yet. I think it's going to wait until Cleveland to get over them, at least for one game. I think that the Cavs will play more as a unit, but I don't think they're going to have enough, and I think Steph is going to put up at least 32 this game. I think Steph is going to be the MVP of this game, and he's going to be show why he was the MVP this season, at least. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked this video, like it down below. And if you loved it, do not miss any of the game reactions we're putting out for this series. Subscribe to our channel. And if you liked this, tell us in the comments down below. And also in the comments, tell us what the Cavs need to do for Game 2 to bounce back and get one over the Warriors. And Warrior fans, tell us what your team needs to do consistently to maybe wrap this up in a sweep. We'll have to see. If you do want to talk to us in different places, you can find me on Twitter at Schwarbo. You can find Ricky on Twitter at Ricky Widmer. You can find Most Valuable Podcast on Twitter at Most Valuable Pod. You can even find us on Snapchat at Most Valuable Pod. You can even find us on Facebook, MVP Sports Network, and you can even find our Patreon page, patreon.com/Most Valuable Podcast. Patrons, if you donate $1, you get an exclusive Patreon podcast, and that is monthly. So if you do want to listen to us, just shoot the shit for about an hour. You can find that on patreon.com. But that's going to wrap up this video. We'll see you for Game 2.